The Mind.Shift podcasts are brought to you by the Quantum Living Corporation and are based on the emotional alchemy principles of Dr. Craig Farney, whose goal is to rewrite the human operating system, one thought at a time.
Welcome to Mind Shift with the Emotional Alchemist, where transformation begins from the inside out. I'm Dr. Craig Farney, and I help people like you every day uncover the beliefs that run their lives, which then allows me to help them rewire their subconscious thinking and help them finally to begin to feel at peace within their own skin. All right. Welcome back to Mind Shift with me, your emotional alchemist, and I have a very special guest here today. I have Casey Taton. Casey and I have known each other for a little while now. So let's start by you just telling us a little bit about yourself, where you're at, what you do, and then we'll just kind of go, because we're ultimately going to talk about health and we're going to talk about manifestation.
All right. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Let's see. Where do we want to start? Thanks for having me on your podcast.
Mm-hmm.
It means a lot.
It means a lot to me that you're on.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, you're going to make me get emotional already. We're not doing that.
It's all good. You won't be the first and you won't be the last. Trust me.
So do you want me to tell my backstory?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
please.
I have fought some big medical battles during my life, and it's always been a journey. And also it was an eye-opening experience to me. And I think what I learned about all of it is God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, had a better plan for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I went from working in the OR to having my life come to a complete stop.
Okay. And
I didn't know anything. I mean, I knew a little bit about like crystals from my grandma and like healing yourself. They were really into that, but I didn't, I was in Western medicine.
Right.
And so I really believed in that. And then when my life stopped and everything just kind of shifted for me, it was like a new awakening to the world.
Okay.
So now I run an organization doing parties for kids in the hospital, Little Moments, Big Dreams celebrations, and we run off the community's donations. And my main goal is to bring smiles to anyone going through a battle.
Right.
So,
well, we're definitely going to make sure and add some type of link so that people can contribute to what you do, because that's a big deal. I mean, that's something I've always admired about you, is that in people's darkest moments, you're there.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And you're there because you know the journey, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You're going to make me cry.
It's okay to cry.
Yeah, I know it's okay to cry. If I wouldn't have had people there to support me, I don't know where I would have been.
Right.
But when you hit the darkest days of your life and you're counting on other people and relying on other people, it means the world to know that people do care about you.
Right.
And so when I get to do these parties, it just lets the family know that not only me, but the community is really aware that this is happening and cheering these families on. Like the struggle is real.
Right. So you said your life stopped.
It did.
To whatever you're comfortable, can you give a little bit more details about that?
Yeah. So yes. Sorry.
It's good.
You're like, I got it. Then it doesn't want to come out. It does come out. This is where you've helped me the most, is expressing this. Because at first I was really ashamed and embarrassed, but I didn't know what was wrong at first. I was diagnosed with gastroparesis at first. I got labeled with all the wonderful things of you're crazy, you're anorexic, you're bulimic, even like suicidal,
right.
All the things. And I was like, oh, you have a test that shows like my stomach's not working. And it didn't just happen. Like I was just like, "Ugh, I'm not hungry," or I'd start throwing up after I ate. And I was like, something not right, but no one was listening to me.
Right.
And I fought that for a long time. I had to go out of state. I had a doctor that finally heard me at Mayo Clinic. And that was like the changing probably point of my life.
Right.
He knew that there was something more. And so they diagnosed me with MALS, which is median arcuate ligament syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And from there I've had a couple surgeries, and now I can eat and drink, and yeah, life is better now.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair too, it's not completely done though.
No.
No. You and I get to have frequent conversations about this.
Yeah.
And I think that's, I think for one, it's human nature that we have something we just want it to go away.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes you get the miraculous results, but more often than not, it's just a slow journey into being healthy. So with all that in mind, what's your definition of health?
Whew. That's a good one. I think my vision of healthy looks like someone who, it's not only on the inside, but it's on the outside.
Yeah.
Where you wake up, life feels good, you feel good.
Right.
And it's even just like the confidence you have in yourself.
Right.
So I think it's a big word of where I'm physically feel good in my own skin, but I also feel good on the outside where I can feel good with myself.
Right. So I'm going to use that as a transition into manifestation concepts. And we're going to come back to and bring these two together. But so you kind of have this unique ability.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
It's funny because I never realized it until you have called me out. But really, I manifested you in my life.
Okay.
I mean, that was kind of the start. And did I think that way? Not really.
Right.
I don't really think that I sometimes realize the power that I have.
Right.
But the more I've been able to connect with my body and feel like fully into my body and feel in alignment, like feel one.
Right.
And just fully trust and connect. I will put my mind to things and they happen.
Right. So give us a couple examples.
Well, I am grateful for every way which you have touched my life, changed my life, and allowed me to see and feel things differently.
Right.
The Fitbit on that's not Fitbit, the Apple Watch.
Right.
I manifested that. I was taking a course, and it's like one of those things when like this lady's like, oh, submit your answers. And it was like an intentional course. I was really doing it because I really liked it. And I loved the lady, just a great mentor. And I was like, my mom was like, you want to come to lunch with us? And I was like, no, this lady's doing this call today. And she's like drawing for an Apple Watch and all these prizes. And she's like, my mom's like, oh, okay, you're not going to miss it? I'm like, no, I'm going to win the watch. She was like, okay. And then I did. She gave away an Apple Watch and I won the Apple Watch.
Right.
Just, it's random things like that. It's like, my head gets like, it's like, I'm winning that. I'm doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool ability.
It is.
Okay. So now let's tie the two things together.
Okay.
You haven't been able to fully manifest your desire.
No.
So why? Didn't realize we were going to actually kind of do a session here, this conversation, but it's more to help people understand and think about what we do, what our mindset is, what our mind shift is, how we manifest and why we manifest in certain areas. I find it interesting how you can manifest in one realm and not as much as you would want to in the other.
Yeah, I'm really good at that. Like, right now I get to help another coach, and if I would have told you that when I first started, my ability to do that or awareness to do that was nothing. I would have never thought I would have been doing that, or even a podcast.
Right.
So,
yeah, it's funny because I remember when we started the process, the thought of you doing a podcast would have been like, I'm not doing that.
Oh yeah. As we joked about it, and I joke about it all the time, I will say, like, can't get my words out, like my throat, it's stuck.
Yeah, we've had some interesting experiences in the office where her voice just goes. It's just like gone and she can't talk. And yet it's funny because I look at you now, even you're not only talking, but you are beaming in a way.
Thanks.
It's
funny. Yeah.
Yeah. That's huge.
It is huge. I've came a long way. When you realize the power you have within yourself and that everything is a choice,
right?
I think your whole world changes. And that leads to manifestation. Where am I setting? Where do I want to go? And I mean, even trips and tickets to places, like, you know, I'm so grateful for that, but somewhere in me, I'm still stuck of like, I know what I want my body to feel like. I know that, well, right now, to be honest, I'm feeling the symptoms of frozen shoulder.
I'm glad you framed it that way.
Yeah.
Somebody taught you that, didn't they?
Yeah. This wise guy next to me may have taught me that.
Wise guy, for sure. Okay.
And I think that there's something about it that I don't want it. I don't want to feel it. I don't want to experience it.
Right.
Yet I'm not really sure how to get rid of it, how to make it go away. And that's where several journeys in my life, I've told you, I'm like, can you just please hit the fast forward button?
Right.
I mean, I've been dead serious when I've looked at you and been like, I'm done feeling this way.
Right.
And you're like, it's the process. And I'm like, well, isn't there a faster process? Like, can you just hit the gas pedal? Because I'm not doing this.
So I mentioned before, my youngest son has his own podcast. It's called the Eli Farney Show. By the way, check it out. I'm sure I've mentioned it before and I'll keep mentioning it. But him and I had this conversation and you kind of alluded to this, is when you realize the power you have to create your life.
Yeah.
And something him and I talked about is he goes, you know, if you have, let's say you're in business and you have a slow day, some part of you created that.
Yeah.
Some part of you wanted that. So that kind of applies here too, that some part of you is creating this. Now, the real question is it creating it as a catalyst to grow, or is it a stuck pattern where we haven't quite learned to be aware of and move past? And it takes time to get there.
Yeah, I think I look at it in two ways. Because for one, it took me back to when I was first sick. And so it's like, okay, God, what do you want me to learn from this? Okay, slow down. Right? So at first I thought it was just slowing down.
Right.
What I thought was slowing down, I was like, okay, there's a better plan. They say that people get over this in like 2 weeks.
Right.
And I've now had it since like the end of March.
Right.
And I lost, the feeling in my fingers. So it went to the extreme. And I was like, okay, what is the answer? Like, just, and the thing is, you can't force it. And that's honestly what I've learned is you can't force anything. I really don't have control over anything except for how I want to feel and how I respond to things.
Right.
So I responded angry, like at first, like I also had to learn how to receive things. Yeah.
You do that so well, because that's never been an issue that we've talked about at all.
Never.
No.
Not at all.
And I also never use sarcasm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if it makes you feel any better, I have something similar. I have a left knee that's been bothering me for probably about 3 months. And it's made progress, and there's still something that's catching there. And I'm like, okay. You said something that I think was important. You said it took you back.
Did.
To when you didn't feel well. And what I work to do with patients or clients too is going, okay, It took you back ultimately to a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the challenge is we tend to fight against those feelings. We don't want to feel the feelings. We've blocked them. We've, worked our way around them. We've created these go arounds. And I think the point is just to allow ourselves to feel, because we have not, I've yet to meet anybody that's really been taught how to experience emotions in a really healthy way.
Oh, yeah. From the day we're born, it's like you cry and people tell you to stop crying.
Exactly.
So they're already shutting you down
Yeah.
right away.
Right.
So it's like from the day you're born, you're already being taught. And when they say the body doesn't remember, the body remembers everything.
It absolutely remembers.
I just had a conversation this week with someone. She said, "Oh, is your podcast about your migraines?" And you know what I said? I went, "No." But, when I first started seeing you, my migraines were bad. And at one point in my life, before I worked in the OR and all that, my migraines were debilitating. Mm-hmm. And it's something that I guess I don't ever look back on.
Right.
It was like I blocked that memory because it's like I don't want to create myself, give myself. I think you can intentionally sometimes make yourself sick.
Yes.
By the process of just overthinking it. I'm going to feel this way. I don't think everybody does it on purpose. I don't think people do it on purpose. I think it's an unawareness of like letting the mind get out of control. Right. And then just now you're sick.
Well, that ties into, to me, what I think the whole principle of life is it's a balance between the inner parent and the inner child, the logic and the emotions. It's not one or the other. It's bringing them together in coherence. And I think that's the problem. I think so many people try to work their emotions through logically, as opposed to allowing themselves just to experience the emotion. And then what I find is logic automatically comes in.
Yeah. Because
emotion rarely is emotion spot on. It tends to be overblown. Mm-hmm. And when you just allow yourself to feel it, it's almost like, well, no, that's not completely it. And logic just naturally comes in. Yeah. And then they start to work together and go, okay, now, because we've talked about this too, is you either can react to emotions or you can respond. And I think that's another reason people tend to shut their emotions down, is they don't like their habitual reaction to the emotion. And so if you can learn to just allow yourself to experience and then still be able to choose a response, then it's a healthy thing.
Yeah. And I think when we're learning that, it actually sometimes triggers more because we're learning to be aware of what we did. And they're like, oh, I didn't like the way I responded to that.
Yes.
Or what I said to that person.
Right.
And so then you start becoming aware of it.
Right. And I think that's why you shut the emotions down, because you actually don't like the end behavior. So you go, well, if I stop it back here, then I don't get to that end behavior.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm the problem. Wait a minute. Mm-hmm. Wait a minute. I'm the problem?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm glad you mentioned that too, because that's another aspect that I really want to, connect into too, is this aspect of responsibility, because it ties into what you talked about as far as being able to manifest and empower. Is I think most of us, we kind of get stuck in blame. It's my parents' fault. It's my teacher's fault. It's my siblings' fault. I think most people kind of live a life of victimhood or victim mindset, and there's no power in it. And it's funny because I think there's an aspect of comfort, because then we go, well, if my life is not what I want it to be, it's not my fault. Whereas if you take ownership of it, then you have power. Then you get to make the decisions. You get to create what you want.
But it's funny that you say that, because as we're growing up, we're not taught that. Mm-mm. So then you become an adult and you're like, oh, wait a minute. Like, I get to choose? Mm-hmm. Now it's my own choice?
Right.
And then I get the responsibility for the choices that I've made.
Well, that's funny too, because I think most kids want to be adults because they want the freedom.
Yeah.
They want to be able to choose. They want to have ice cream when they want to have ice cream, or, in the middle of the day or before dinner or whatever. and they don't realize the responsibility that comes with the freedom. Oh, yeah. And it's being able to have that wisdom to do both that comes into play.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so funny because when you look at kids, I look at my niece and nephew and I'm like, I just want to be a kid again. Mm-hmm. The real thing is I can still choose to. Kids are so curious and they just have so much fun and they're not worried about what's next.
Right.
And so I'm like, how do I want to tap into that energy and just not have a care, because we start caring and overthinking everything and it just takes over.
And we do that because of fear, not faith.
Yeah.
And I find trusting. Say that again.
Not trusting.
I know. Well, and it's funny because what came to my mind is that verse in the Bible talks about having the faith of a child. And I think it's like we want the freedom without the responsibility. And I think there's a way to have both. I think what we do with that responsibility, though, is we tend to try to control.
Yeah.
And when we try to control, one of the things I know too is control is all about the future. Because when you're in your present moment, you realize you're the only in control of you, not anything around you.
Yeah.
And so I think one of the things I put is this concept of the coherence of the parent and the child. And I think it's about helping the child mature and helping the parent remember how to play.
Yeah.
And when you can do both of those, then I think we're truly healthy and we're truly manifesting ourselves.
Yeah. That's the part that's the tricky part, when they start trying to connect to each other and you feel the pull in your body of like, oh, I'm trying to control this. And
one of the things I've kind of come to in what I do is I really think it's a simple concept, is I think this inner parent, inner child are talking at each other as opposed to communicating with each other. And that's something I really work to do. And we've talked, we've gone through this, is if I could bring those conversations to the surface and actually see them, you realize you're not really listening to yourself very well. And when you actually can start to learn to listen, it's almost like it happens automatically. You don't have to teach that child. The wisdom of the parent comes into play automatically. And you also become more playful because that comes into play too, because the child is given the freedom to play.
Yeah.
And so it's really all about that communication with ourselves, I think, is the whole key to everything. And that's something I'm working on personally, and I know you're working on as well.
That's what I would say is healthy. Because that's like you're in alignment, that full body alignment of fun and joy. And yeah, like that's my vision of healthy.
My favorite description lately, and I've repeated it over and over, and I know my assistant Amanda's getting tired of hearing it, but healing is not about fixing anything. It's about remembering who you are before you were told who to be. And it goes back to like you talked about.
Yeah.
As a child, we're told, don't cry.
Yeah.
Or even worse, if you're going to cry, I'll give you something to cry about.
Oh, yeah.
We get those in there as well. And I'm like, no, we're not taught to deal with emotions in a healthy way.
Yeah. And that's huge right there.
Well, that's the whole, the emotional alchemy is about that transformation. It's about healthy emotional responses.
Yeah.
What blows me away, and that's part of the point of this podcast too, is it's not just you and I, it's not just our community, it's worldwide. We as a humanity are doing this to ourselves.
Yeah. Yes, we are. If we can just connect to, I believe that energy isn't just us. Like we are one. We are one, like piece of the master. We are, let me get my words out. We are all connected as one.
Absolutely.
But no one wants to, we just all want to control what everybody else is doing.
Right. Because what are we ultimately trying to control? Our own pain. Yeah. We're trying to prevent us from being hurt or being damaged, which is the default of the brain, is safety. And when this is another concept you kind of you touched on, and I like this too, because it's something I've been working with, is most of us have this fear of the unknown.
Oh, yeah.
And what I'm learning to do is go, what if I started to become an explorer? What if I started to see it as an adventure as opposed to potential danger? And if we can take on that mindset, now we start to collaborate. We start to come together. We're not fighting against each other or fighting for resources. We're being that one that I really believe we are. Because if we can become one as an individual, we can become one as a community, one as a humanity. I mean, that's my that's my ultimate goal, is to be a part of that in this.
When people say they can't control what's happening in the world, they can't. It's like, well, if you controlled yourself and you had connection with yourself,
right,
then you could help others. But you have to be okay with yourself before you can be okay with anybody else.
That's right. Absolutely. That's the biggest problem. That's one of the things I've told people frequently, and what I do too, is as you go back in, you deal with child and you deal with your interaction with your parents, you start to realize, wow, they had the same issue.
Yeah.
Maybe in a little different nuanced way, but they didn't feel good with themselves, because evil cannot come out of good. It's not possible.
Right.
When you are being unhealthy towards somebody, that can only come from an unhealthy place within yourself. And so if you can realize that, it also helps you let go of that whole victim aspect. You start to go, wow, I don't have to blame them. I can start to understand them, and I can even eventually move into compassion. How do I because you realize, wow, if I walked in their shoes, would I really be that different?
Yeah.
Right.
But the one thing is, when you go into victim mode, it's a spiral.
It is.
So if you allow yourself to stay in there, you just keep spiraling. And if people don't believe that, it's like one bad, like, like they say things come in threes, right?
Right.
Well, that's like saying I'm going to have 3 bad things happen to me.
Right.
And you're just putting it out there of like, I'm in this spot and now something else is going to happen. It's like you're almost waiting for it to happen.
Kind of ties back into the whole manifest. We manifest all the time. The question is, which direction do you manifest in? Because it can spiral downward. It can also spiral upward. And that's if we can learn that. And you have that in a aspect of your
way.
You do. I just want to help you be able to manifest it in all aspects of your being. You've made huge strides compared to where you started.
Oh, yeah. I think I've grown a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even just sitting here talking and not being like, because that's like when he says my voice went, like I couldn't get words out. I didn't know how to speak it or how to say it or get it even out. And now I'm just like, just let it come out. Whatever it comes out as, it comes out as. And then, but there's so much you're taught. And even, I mean, I had spinal meningitis as a child, and we've talked about how I don't remember that, but my family does. I was only a couple months old.
Right. And your body does.
And my body does. Yeah. And so it's like, and when people talk about it, it's I get uncomfortable.
I always tell people that when you start to feel something, that's an indication that your child is being drawn into this situation, because feelings come from the inner child.
Yeah.
So I had another thought that, one of the things I was going to say, you and I had said this before. It's too bad we didn't record any of those sessions in, because that would have been a great thing to put in the.
Oh yeah.
We're going to take a pause here and we're going to show you what it was like. But
yeah, we should have recorded those. I'm sure it'll come up again as you work through things.
Oh yeah.
But definitely not as clear as what it did come up as.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I remember the first time I'm like, that's interesting.
Is she speaking?
That's right. So tell me some good stuff. What's some good things that are happening right now?
Well, I have a podcast out. I get to speak my voice. I am working on speaking. This is where I get stuck. Okay. It's like that manifesting thing. I believe it's possible. I can feel it.
Right.
I can see it.
Yes.
But does my body fully feel it? I would like to speak on stages and tell people my journey.
Yes.
Because my journey is very powerful. And I think that no matter where you're at, everybody experiences something in their life. You can relate to, you can get through it, and it's possible.
So there's 2 things I want to hit on. One is, I talk a lot about the difference between knowing something consciously, subconsciously, and unconsciously, or believing it consciously, subconsciously, and unconsciously. It's all that way down to the depths of your soul. It's interesting because yesterday I'm in a business networking group, and it was my turn to do my presentation. And I found this cool transition in PowerPoint, which like had all these pictures, and then it was like curtains that were being pulled back. And I said, now I'm going to tell you the real story. And so I went through my timeline and told some very uncomfortable things. And when I got done, there was that feeling of going, oh, this is uncomfortable. This is, and what's funny too is what I know, because I was even thinking about this today, is I didn't really even tell the darkest parts because those are too painful.
Yeah.
We get afraid that if I let you know who I am, you're going to reject me.
It's about like opening your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And also when you have on, you're Dr. Farney, right? So some part of you is like, I'm healed. or you
Yes.
you carry the thing of like people look at you like you're healed. So
kind of like a preacher's supposed to be perfect. Yes.
And so when you get to say, here's my journey, here's what I've been through.
Right.
People, I think it changes the way they look at you.
Yes.
But also I believe it brings more compassion into the story because they're like, oh,
well,
why.
Yeah. And what you also see too is going, his story is not that different from my story.
Yeah.
You mean he has skeletons and demons and stuff too. And that's one of the things I could tell it's like, when somebody's paying attention and I'm like, everybody was just kind of in this, wow.
Yeah.
Place. It was kind of a surreal moment too I was back to my son's podcast. He just released one this last week, which by the time this comes out, that will be like months ago, but that's okay. Yeah. And he had been doing all his podcasts in his closet without showing his face. He had a screen on. So you had the ability to just talk and you're not worried about your eye movements or your head movements or where you're looking. Yeah. And he did his most recent one, recording himself in front of a camera with, and he hit these places where it's like he got stuck mentally or he got stuck and he's like, and he was going through this, maybe I'll just chuck it. But he allowed it and he put it out there. When I say this, I told him you are very real and vulnerable. And I'm very proud of you for that because the world needs more of that. We put on so many fronts and so many masks and we're not authentic.
Yeah.
And I think, and this ties even back into manifesting because manifesting occurs when you're being authentic. You knew all the way down to the depths of your soul that you were going to win. It wasn't a question. It wasn't an if, or it wasn't I hope. It wasn't maybe. It just, this is.
Yeah.
And I think when we can connect with that vulnerable place, life becomes that way. It just is. And that's the challenge is we're trying to make it something. I said this too, is we tend to do to be instead of be and let the do come out.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm working on personally is because be only occurs in this moment. Yeah. It's easy. And I find it, one of the things I find most fascinating is that humans have the ability to do metacognition. You and I are here having a conversation and part of me could just kind of go over here and go, oh, that's interesting. I wonder why he's saying that way. Or I wonder what she's thinking about all this stuff. And be able to just come back into this moment and just go, I'm just here. I don't have to think about, does my lawn need mowed or did I go pay this bill or what do I have next week or what am I eating for dinner? What's here? How do you and I connect? How do you and I be authentic in this moment?
That's probably one of the biggest challenges.
Mm-hmm. It is.
We are so wired to think, what's next? Mm-hmm. How is this going to happen?
Right.
How are the bills going to get paid? How am I going to have food? What am I going to have next for tea?
Right.
Like we're always thinking of the next thing. Like this isn't good enough.
Right.
And so it's, just being. And I said, I know the days I'm just being, I can feel it. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, today I'm just going to be.
Yeah.
And it's a full body feeling of my brain isn't like, the mouse isn't in my head just running on that little the treadmill or the rat's not running on that treadmill, inside my head and the thoughts aren't going in and out. And even if they are, when I'm just being, I can accept it.
Right.
Oh, thank you. Acknowledge that and let it go and not overthink about it.
And I think that comes from the fact that we're not taught how to deal with our emotions, because when you're not taught how to deal with your emotions, then you have to adapt. You either have to try to get out in front of it and control it, or you get buried down in it and just, you go into a state of depression.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when you are healthy, you're not, depression's from the past, anxiety's from the future.
Yeah.
And if you're dealing, or you can also have anger in the moment. Mm-hmm. But when you're healthy, you're not out in front of yourself. You're not stuck in the past. It's all just wisdom, and you're just being. Yeah. You're not you're just going with the flow of life and the flow of the universe and the flow of existence and all that stuff. Yeah. And it's funny because I think everybody has those moments.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And if we could just learn to stay there. Something else I've learned recently, and I'm not sure if I talked to you about this or not, because most of my life I felt this sense of what's the point? What's the point? What's the point? What's the point? What are we driving towards? What are we doing all this for? And I finally realized there is no point, because point is about trying to get to a destination.
Where are we all going?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, even when you get there, then what?
Yeah.
It's just being.
Mm-hmm.
And if we could all learn that, we would be a lot healthier.
Can you imagine how calm the world would be?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
People wouldn't be cutting people off in traffic. There would be none of that, because we're all just living in the actual moment, not rushing, not the racing.
Right.
Just like,
we wouldn't even have to have much governing aspect either. And we wouldn't have to have conversations about the well-being of our world, because we would live from a place of love. Yeah. And that word drives me crazy, because it's gotten so watered down and so frou-frou-y and all this stuff that it's not really what the truth of what love is. That when we truly are being, we are love.
Yeah. It's one.
Right.
Yeah. It's not about loving somebody. You love everybody.
Right.
It's a feeling. Yeah.
And it just flows out of you. It's not you. Yeah. You don't have to. It just, you are. It just is and I think it's what I love. And one of my biggest passions too is I believe every one of us is a unique frequency.
Yes.
And I hate seeing those frequencies be squashed or distorted. And that's my goal is I want to get all the garbage out of the way so you can just be the frequency you truly are.
That's good stuff right there.
Mm-hmm.
The trick is, I feel that comes up for me, is staying in that. You can feel it.
Right.
And then it's like something happens. I'm like, I'm not being anymore. And then it comes up of why am I overthinking? And you can catch yourself. So I think the biggest step is awareness.
Yes. What I've found too is I think that's where we're going to get really metaphysical going, okay. What I have found in the work I do, you have what you think, that I think tends to be your neurology. You have what you feel, which tends to be your chemistry and your emotions. But you have what you believe, which I think is almost a cellular programming, that it gets down at this core place where it's like, it's not really even emotional anymore. It's just you are being, and then something moves you.
Yeah.
And I think that occurs at that core level place. And that's where I'm working to get to this very core programming and going, every moment of every day, I want to be. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really just habit. And that's kind of part of the point of this whole thing is so much of what we do and think and feel is just habits. It's just what we were taught. It's just what we've been programmed to be. And I think in some essence, that's kind of maybe part of the journey is how do I take this manifested form of myself that was kind of preloaded when I became aware and change the programming? Restore it, really probably even just restore the programming more than actually, how do I allow my truest frequency, my truest essence to manifest through every tiny aspect of my being?
Yeah. I think we get so stuck in one area and just focusing on one area that we can't let the rest, or maybe even the body doesn't know how to handle that yet. of letting it all just laying it all out on the table.
Right.
Like, here's this.
Well, and I think the brain's all about association. And that's, I think, where we get knocked off is you'll have an experience you didn't realize is your brain associates, well, this goes with this. Even though you go, if you can actually see it, you go, well, I don't want that. That's not what I would choose. It just, that's what the programming is. And I think that's becoming aware of going, okay, if I go out of the being, then I got activated into one of these other pathways. What was the association that the brain is making? And how do I disassociate? And I think that's one of the fascinating things about the brain is that you can literally rewire it.
Oh yeah. I 100% agree that you can rewire your brain. Mm-hmm. It's that we're so caught up in chasing the next best thing. Mm-hmm. And I had this conversation with someone yesterday, and they were like, if you had all the money in the world, someone had asked them this, what would it feel like?
Right.
What would you do with it?
Right.
And she said the person that she was talking to looked her in the eye and said, I have a lot of money and I'm not happy. Mm-hmm. And she said, don't you think that's kind of weird? And then she's like, because that's what I used to want, is like, if my career took me this and I had the money, then I could have these things, right? Mm-hmm. Because that's what we're taught.
Right.
If we work hard, all these things, but you have all the money, you have all these things, but you don't have the love and the self-love. Right. And it doesn't make you happy. Mm-hmm. You're not going to be happy. Mm-hmm. It's like you have to fulfill all of everything in you.
Right. I think if you can actually get at, I think we're looking for something outside of us to give us what we're really wanting. Yeah. It's interesting that you mentioned money, because that's been one of my own personal struggles most of my life, because I had this concept of poverty and scarcity, and I'm finally working my way through that. And what I also realized too, though, is what I really want, what I saw in people that I perceived had a lot of money was freedom.
Yeah. I think a lot of people relate that. Right. If I have the money, then I have this, and I don't have to worry about these things. Yeah.
Well, and I think they believe what I'm realizing is the freedom doesn't come from the money.
No.
It's the mindset.
Yeah.
It's if you believe you're free, you are free, even if you're in a prison, because it's more a state of the mind and a state of our being than it is the state of our environment. It gets back to the idea of control, because I think if I can control my environment, I can control my inner being. And that's not how it works. It's the other way around.
Yeah.
Which ties back into the idea of manifesting. Manifesting doesn't come from the outside in.
No. You can't make it happen.
No. So where did that come from? Is that just who you are?
I don't know that answer.
Good. Because there's supposed to be answers or questions that we don't get answers to.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, people ask why about my health journey, and they're like, it's selfish not to tell my journey, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes I don't fully believe that.
Right.
I do believe it. I feel it. But I think it comes with the feeling of like fear. Mm-hmm. And I think I got through that part of my life by stubbornness and fight. Like, I've always had something in me that was like the next thing. And I have like a tattoo of shooting stars on my foot. And I've always been the one that's like, reach for the stars. I just want to sit outside and look at the stars. Mm-hmm. What does that mean for me? Mm-hmm. It means some people can't see, like in meditation, if you do anything like that.
Right.
It's like I could put myself in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
I can feel these feelings.
Right.
Now I'm just going to put myself in those things.
Mm-hmm.
And the little things, which I mean, it's a big thing to be able to say, I'm going to win that. It's almost like, I'll be on a call and say they're going to give a Starbucks gift card away.
Right.
I'm like, oh, I'm going to win that. And then I'll see my name and I'm like, oh, yeah, I won it. But I ask you about my shoulder and I'm like, hey, can you speed this up? I know there's a lesson, there's a plan, there's something.
Mm-hmm. You're starting to get the answer though, right? That it doesn't come from me.
No. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. Yeah, it's been a struggle.
I get it, because we all have our areas. We all have our things that it's like, I got it in this area.
Yeah.
Not so much over here.
Yeah.
Now we've talked through this conversation too. Is that even part of what we chose beforehand? Who knows? There's no way to know for sure, but
if there's a journey, I took the bumpy one. I've talked about this with a friend of mine.
Right.
And I've told you this. You've spoke with her and
right.
We talk about like Mario Karts. Like, everybody's like ding, ding, ding. And I'm the person that's like ding, boom. And it's not like I just like take the next level. It's like, I'm going to go to the extreme level and then try to allow my body to figure things out.
Right.
Like my soul's path didn't take the
easy
way.
I had an interesting experience. I was thinking about my own personal struggles because it's funny how one person's struggles are like, that's no big deal. But, one of the phrases that drives me crazy, well, it could be worse. It doesn't matter because you feel what you feel, period. Mm-hmm. But I was having this interesting thought within myself of going, okay, this has been my challenges. This is the stuff that's been hard. Well, what if I chose it ahead of time? So my brother right after me, he had all kinds of mental and emotional handicaps. He struggled with schizophrenia and all that type of stuff. And I almost sensed him saying, yeah, that's nothing. I leveled up on you a long time ago. And I'm like, wow. Because I was thinking going, I cannot imagine what it would have been like to go through his journey. Yeah. And I'm going, I don't know that I had the strength to do it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wow, it's just interesting how each of us have these different pathways that we go through to learn to be.
Yeah. And it's crazy because it's like leveling up. Mm-hmm. But somewhere when we're young, it's like we're taught that. Like you play sports and it's mm-hmm. like, well, I'm going to score a goal and I'm going to win this.
Right.
So somewhere it's like you're taught that you have to be the best or you're better. And then you start comparing and doing all that.
Right.
And so I feel like that somewhere we just keep that in our brain of like, I have to one up the next person. Or why are they getting this and I'm not?
Right. I just had a thought that hit me too as I started reading this book, which is the title slipped me. My BNI executive director, Robert Murphy, gave it to me. And it's basically about the vision of a leader. And it starts talking about the difference between a leader and a manager. And I just started thinking about it from this perspective. I think when we are we lead, and we're not, we manage.
Yeah, I think do you want to know my opinion on that?
Yeah.
I think when you're a leader, a true authentic leader mm-hmm. leads by example.
Absolutely. And it comes from just who they are.
Yes.
Not what they're seeking to manifest or manufacture, probably even would be a better word of trying to be something that you don't really believe you are.
Yeah. Where the manager part is they're trying to control mm-hmm. everybody else.
And that gets back into that environment versus mm-hmm. internal. And I think it's when you connect with your true self, you are a leader, no matter what you do, because you are just being you and you're guiding people in what you have learned, what wisdom you have, what your individual frequency is in ways that they haven't got a chance to experience. And I think that in some sense, that's the point of humanity too, so that we can learn from each other as opposed to fight each other.
Yeah. I was just in this, I'm in a lot of women's community groups and I have a group of like pod sisters. And we were just talking about the power of like uplifting each other. Mm-hmm. And we're all unique. None of us are competing to say my podcast or me out speaking or my journey, whatever I'm doing right now is any better than what you're doing. Right. There's no competition at all.
Right.
It's like, and when you can see yourself going there, any of us can realize like, whoa, why did you just say that about her?
Right.
It's like when you become their biggest cheerleader and you can step back and do that.
Right.
There's no competition and everybody leads in their own way.
Right.
So everybody's being who they are and gets to share their journey, their experience.
Right.
Because we're both sitting in the same room and we're both going to look at this podcast and see it different ways.
Yeah. You'll judge you and I'll judge me and we'll be fine. I know. Well, I think that's another one of those concepts, getting it from the head down to the heart into the soul.
Yeah.
Is the journey and the challenge too, is because I've said that I think the problem is we tend to compare, which means where do I fit on this vertical scale? And when you turn it sideways and go, there really is no competition, because competition comes out of fear.
Yeah.
And
the lack.
Right. And what I think too is, I think about this from the greatest athletes, they don't really care about the score. What they really care about is, did I manifest my best version of myself? And if I did, that's it. And the score doesn't really matter. So if we could start to see each other more on that horizontal scale and go, wow, that's interesting, that's different. I say this a lot, especially when it comes to religious and political conversations. If people could just sit down and go, here's what I think, here's what I feel, here's what I believe, and the other person go, that's interesting, here's what I think, here's what I feel, here's what I believe, and you can both go, wow, I never thought about it from that perspective. I don't have to argue. I don't have to prove I'm right, you're wrong. It's just they're different. Yeah. Not better, not worse. They're different.
Letting go of that judgment.
Mm-hmm. And control.
Yeah.
So, well, speaking of control, I am going to take control because we're going to bring this to a close. But this isn't the only podcast you and I will ever do. We were just jokingly talking about one of my previous assistants coming in and talking about some of our previous experiences. We'll come back and have an episode where we do that. We'll talk about the squeaky voice.
Oh, all the fun times. It's when I sit down in your chair, I'm already feeling the redness. Mm-hmm. When I sit down in your chair, it's like, I just surrender. It's like, okay, whatever's going to come out, comes out. Like putting on glasses, whatever you do is your work. And yeah.
Well, I like too, though. It's interesting because there's different types of people. Some people feel frequencies. You're one of those people.
Oh, yeah.
You can hold something and go, whoa, what is that doing to me?
Mm-hmm.
So you haven't fully learned yet how to, I think there's this flip where when you get full hold of your superpower, it's almost like you'll take that frequency and go, oh, that's going to go this direction.
The magic one is going to go that way.
That's right. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming. Hey, do this for me. So back to one of your big passions is remind me what you called it.
Little moments, big dreams, celebrations.
Yes. How can people connect with that and support that? Because this is a big deal.
Thanks.
It is.
I thank you for saying that, and I received that.
Mm-hmm.
We are on Facebook, and I'm Casey Taton on Facebook. We have a Facebook group, and we're on Instagram. I'm on Instagram as well. Anybody can just reach out to me, and I would gladly guide them to where they can help us, where they can support us, and just be part of the impact we're making in this world. Yeah.
These kids need it because that's the darkest moment. So I appreciate you. I will do my best to have my daughter does my editing, and I'm going to have her get that link on there. We were having fun the other day because I'm going, okay, how do I do this posting thing and this sharing thing?
Learning.
Yeah, I'm a little far enough back there that this is, and my kids jokingly call me the QR king, and they joke about I have trouble with QR codes and all that. I'm like, yeah, leave me alone. So thanks for coming. Enjoyed it. I'm proud of you. You've made such huge strides, and we'll do it again. So thanks for joining us on the Mind Shift podcast. Come back next time, and who knows what else we'll do. So
it'll be fun.
Yep. Thanks.
Thank you for joining the Mind Shift podcast today. If this resonates, Dr. Farney would love to hear from you. Leave a review, message him on social media, or visit www.docerelifecenter.com to learn more about Dr. Farney and his approach to wellness. Until next time, keep alchemizing. The content of this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended to be a substitute for professional mental health, medical, or therapeutic advice, diagnosis, or treatment. While Dr. Craig is passionate about emotional healing and personal growth, he is not acting as your personal therapist, counselor, or healthcare provider in this format. If you're experiencing significant emotional distress, mental health challenges, or physical ailments, he strongly encourages you to seek support from a licensed professional in your area. By listening, you agree to take full responsibility for your own well-being, decisions, and actions. You're the expert of your experience. This podcast is simply here to help support and inspire your healing journey.